This happened over the weekend, right before the weekend started, actually. But I'm not going to let it go because it's both too good and too grating for me. So Marco Rubio recently did an interview, and he mentioned a couple of things. One was the investigation of Donald Trump. On that, he actually had good things to say. But then he talked about the corporate tax cuts, and that was infuriating. First, let me give you the quote about the investigation. He said, "I think the best thing that can happen for the president, for the country, and for everyone is that he be allowed to complete his investigation," referring to Mueller, "as thoroughly and completely as possible, and that we allow the facts from that investigation to lead where they may." Now, that is the correct thing to say. If you care about America and you care about the rule of law, all senators, regardless of what party they're from, should want to enforce the law and let a special counsel do his investigation and not interfere or obstruct in that investigation. There's of course a second reason why Marco Rubio is doing it, because he's clearly going to run for president in 2020. And he already got his ass kicked by Donald Trump. He doesn't want to get his ass kicked by Donald Trump again, and if he thinks Donald Trump probably did it, and you let the investigation go, and it's a little bit of turmoil, but I'm right back in this thing. Now, if that was his only quote though, I'd compliment him and say good job and be done with it, okay? And the 2020 comments and his run are more about the second part, okay? But both are related. So when they asked him about the tax cuts that they just gave to the rich and most importantly, to multinational corporations, giant tax cuts. First he said, well, look, it's significantly better than what we had, but then he had the nerve to say this. He said, I thought we probably went too far on helping corporations. By and large, you're going to see a lot of these multinationals buy back shares to drive up the price. Some of them will be forced because they're sitting on historic levels of cash to pay out dividends to shareholders. That isn't going to create dramatic economic growth. That's what we said, but we said it before you voted on the bill. This guy votes for the bill, then the next day turns around and goes, oh, golly gee, turns out we might have given the corporations too much. Did we do that by accident? Oops. Oh, it turns out they're not going to create jobs. The whole time the Republican Party was telling you that they were going to create jobs with the money they're going to get, we were lying. That was a funny joke. So, no, I actually think they're going to do stock buybacks and dividends. That's what we said. We did a whole investigation on TYT Investigates where we asked company after company after company, wait, are you actually going to create jobs? And the reality was, when you looked into the facts, no, they're going to do exactly what Rubio says here. They have historic levels of cash. They're going to pay out dividends to shareholders, and they're going to buy back shares. He says they're going to be forced to. They're not going to be forced to. They want to. They're going to make unbelievable amounts of money for their executives. So why does Marco Rubio admit this today? First of all, it's not like you just found out yesterday. What were you doing, watching Young Turks archives and go, oh man, I didn't know that. Oh, damn it, I voted the wrong way. No, he wanted to vote and help those corporations. They're his donors. The reason he makes this comment after the vote is because he's probably going to run for president again. And when he does, he'll turn around and you'll see it with your own eyes, and we might even go back to this clip. And he'll turn around and say, well, I told you after that the corporations wouldn't create jobs. I said it. I said they do mainly buybacks. I thought we were helping them too much. So he tries to have his cake and eat it too. Hey, corporate donors, don't worry, I delivered for you. Hey, voters, after I gave the corporations, in his own words, too much, I then said, well, golly gee, I feel a little bit bad about it. He doesn't feel bad about it. That was the whole point. He's owned and bought by those corporate donors. For him to disingenuously say this afterwards is appalling. I'm gonna show you one last chart here. So I show you guys this a decent amount if you watch the show. And this is a pie chart of 1952 taxes and 2015 taxes. Back in 1952, corporations used to pay almost a third of all the taxes, 32%. In 2015, that's down to 10.8%, so a little less than 11%. They have massively reduced their tax burden. They shifted that tax burden onto you, the middle class. Now, after this gigantic tax cuts that even the Republican Senator Marco Rubio says were too much in helping corporations, their share of taxes will go down even lower. Your share of taxes will go even higher. The system is rigged. It's rigged in the most obvious way. Donors privately finance elections. The politicians who are corrupt, who took that private financing, work for private interests. They work for those corporations. And then later they try to trick you into getting your vote by saying, oh, golly gee, I've had second thoughts. I think I might have helped corporations a little too much. Yeah, that's very cute, Marco, but nobody's buying it. If you had these reservations, there was an easy way to show it. You should have voted no. You voted yes, because you serve those same corporations. That's your job. You're a water boy for them. You just watched the video by the Young Turks, the home of the revolution. If you'd like to get the full show, come join us and become a member. tytnetwork.com/join.